Hi guys, it's Becky, and today I want to do one of my favorite activities, which is to take a whole bunch of my bead boxes for that month and to make same but different types of jewelry. And so for this one, I want to make some bracelets like I've done before when I did some stretch bracelets. I did other ones with single loop memory wire, but this one I'm going to do beaded chain bracelets. So we're going to make some links. We're going to link them all together. And then I want to have some dangles from each of them. And that's just my idea of how it's going to go. They're going to all look totally different, but we're going to be using the same concept, the same methods to make all of those. And I have an extra bead box to add to the mix this month because I have the new gemstone orphanage bead box that I opened up on my thing. So we're going to grab from that. So let me go over the different boxes that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using the Colors of the Cosmos from Sam's Bead Box. I'm going to grab some of the beads from here. I am going to be using the Birds of a Feather bead box from, well, it's not a box, it's their design kit from Softflex. And so I'm going to be grabbing some beads from here. I'm going to be using the, I can't remember what the chrysanthemum, Cozy Chrysanthemum bargain bead box that we already opened recently, and this will be the first thing that I make from this box, so it'll be real exciting for that. I'm going to be using the Persian rug curated bead box as well, and just showed you the gemstone orphanage one, and then I've also got the magical mystery bead box from Jesse James Beads, and this one is down the rabbit hole. So this one's going to be kind of fun because there are all sorts of fun metal beads that we can add in our links, as well as some of these other things, and I think I just am going to have a challenge narrowing down what charms I'm going to be tangling from my bracelets. So we'll get to that one in a little bit, but I think what I want to do here is pull out the beads that I'm going to use from each of these boxes, make a couple of example links, and then I'll make the rest of the links on my own outside of this format, and then we'll come back together and put them together after I've made my links. So I pulled out some of the findings that came with this because I don't know if I'm going to be using them or not. I think I might go the easy route and use this magnetic clasp just because bracelets, right? But I think I might, if I have beads that fit them well, use some of these bead caps, and these are all gunmetal color. So I grabbed the gunmetal craft wire that I have in stash. This is Softflex craft wire, and I've got 20 gauge and 22 gauge, and I want to do it in the way where I do like a wire wrapped link, and then I do a what is it called? A simple loop link. And I'll use the simple loop links, I'll open and close them to hook together the whole thing. It just makes it so much easier, at least for me, so I don't have to keep forgetting to hook it onto the next link when I do my next wire wrap. I can just wrap my wrapped links and not have to worry about hooking it onto something. And then we'll use the simple loop links for that. And so I've got both of these craft wires for that. I use 20 gauge for simple loops and 22 for my wrapped loops. So I'm going to be using those because that's what metals we've got here. We've got some little head pins so I can make some drops. There's some spacers. Might be using them, might not. There's some little metal beads. Might be using them, might not. I haven't decided yet. And that's part of the fun of this, is figuring out what we're going to use. And I think I want to use these big guys, actually. 2, 3, 4, and these stars. I think they will look great with these stars in between them. And no, I already have. All right, so I've got an extra star for things. Ooh, you know what? I can use the star as a drop. I can make a drop with the star. That'll be a little dangle. Let me grab grab a little black bead to add onto a drop. There we go. We can do that. That'll be great. And then, how about these rondelles to add on just these white rondelles? I think this will look great together. Do I have enough of these white rondelles? Let's find out. So if I don't have enough of these, and I don't think I do for what I had intended, but we do have these white rondelles, these gemstone white rondelles. Let me grab a couple of those. 1, 2, 3. Whoop, not that one. Not that either. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. All right. Yeah, I think that's gonna look really, really cute. Yeah, I'm stoked about that. Let's do a second dangle, just for the heck of it, with one of these flowers. All right, all right, all right. So this is what I'm going to use with the gemstone orphanage. Let me pull out a couple of head pins, because I'm just going to make my dangles right now. Well, I've got you. All right. I'm just going to wrap this around the top of this dangle with this head pin. Right. So we'll have the dangles ready to go when we do this. I'm going to have 2 of them, because why not, right? Why not have 2 dangles? There's no law that says you can only have 1 dangle on a bracelet. No law. You can have as many dangles as you want. You could have 0. That's an option. All right, so I've got both of my dangles, using that little bellflower and a tiny round one. All right, and I think that's it for the rest of these findings. I'm going to put the rest of these away. Remember, I couldn't fit all the findings in my box, so I had to keep them separated. And I'm going to pull this out because I am going to use that. And let's make some example. So I'm working from the spool, as I like to do. I'm going to stack one of these white rondelles, one of these onyx beads, and another white rondelle. And then I'm going to make a wire wrapped loop here. So I'm going to give myself about 2 inches. I'm going to bend it back. Well, actually, I like for my wire wrapped loops to use my 6-step bail making pliers. So I'm going to grab this because I can just be more consistent with my wrapped loops. I'm going to wrap around my smallest step. Bring it around there. forgot to tell you about my tools. For my tools, I'm using 6-step bell making pliers. I'm using round nose pliers because I like to use my wrapped loops with these 6-step bell making pliers, and I like to use my round nose pliers for my simple loops. I'm using flush cutters to cut my wire. There we go. And I shall be using, at some point, some chain nose pliers. Tucking in ends, for opening and closing my loops, for attaching things. Okay, so now that I've got one wrapped loop on that end, I'm going to cut off a couple of inches there and make a wrapped loop on the other end. I'm going to bend this over the top of that. Grab my bell making pliers, and I am using the smallest loop again. That's why I like using these, is so I can be consistent. I'm just going to wrap this all the way down. All right, and then I'm going to make 4 of these. Well, I'll make 3 more so that there's a total of 4. And I'm gonna probably give it a little bit of a curve because it's going to be on a wrist. And this is a long, link. I like for it to be able to have some curve when it's on a wrist. And I can do that because I can bend my wire. So I'm gonna make 3 more of those for a total of 4. And then I'm gonna do some simple loops with these 20mm wire and these star beads. All right, so for simple loops, I start with a flush end. And I'm gonna go about 1/3 of the way up my barrel from the tip. Bend it all the way around till it's touching the wire. Once it's touching that wire, I'm going to rotate it so it's down below, right below where it's touching. Just give a little squish with my pliers, and that bends that back to make it more of a lollipop shape instead of a Q or a P shape. I always will give it a little squish, just to work hard in that for that loop. Now that I've got that loop on that end, I can make another loop on the other end. I'm just gonna guesstimate on that, give that a cut. I can use my finger, just push this over like that. Then I can use the side of my finger to measure. And then take my round nose pliers and bend this back until it's touching. Give it a squish. I'm going to make 3 of these. All right, so that is my gemstone orphanage one. Let me move these guys out of the way. I think for all of the other ones, I'm going to be using the same wire for the rest of them. And that is going to be some 20 gauge and 22 gauge gold colored wire. All right. Here we go. believe I would like one of these feather charms and one of these birds as my dangles. This is the Birds of a Feather kit. And I'm going to grab these window beads. I'm going to pull these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want to use those and these pearl beads, these blue pearl beads. And I think I would also like to use some of these bone-colored check glass beads. All right. Yeah, here we go. There is. I will make a clasp when we get to that part. All right, so for this, am I going to, hold on, this is the 22 gauge. I just want to make sure everything's going to fit on all of our beads. Pretty sure it will. Okay. I think I want my simple loop beads to be on these window ones, the 20 gauge wire. So that means my wrapped loops, I'm going to be using these. And I like having my wrapped loops be the larger, more beady links. And my simple loop links be the ones that are just a single bead, kind of simpler, less complicated. I feel like it just flows better like that, if you know what I mean. All right. So I don't think I need to talk you through this again. It's basically the same thing I did with the other, where, hold on just a sec. All right. Where I wrap a loop at one end, slide the beads up, cut it off, bend it over the thing, wrap it on the other end. So you have a wire wrapped link. And I do actually kind of like this. And again, as with the other one, because it's kind of long, we can give it a little bend so that when it is in bracelet form, it'll fit better. I'm going to end up making 4 of these links. I'm going to make 5 of these other links using the 20 gauge wire and simple loops. I'm doing the same process as I did with the other. Where I make a little lollipop. Let me cut this off. And I'm going to pinch both the bottom of this and the top use my finger to bend it over the top, use my finger to measure it. And close with the other, squish it flat. So that's what I'm going to use for the birds of a feather, and I'll just use some jump rings to attach my loops when I do that. So let me move these guys out of the way. Get that out of the way a little bit. So move more things over here. All right, now let's get our Colors of the Cosmos box out. Let's figure out some links to make with that. I think I would like to use my little moon face guys in a bracelet. I think I want 5 of those links, and then 4 with the blue and orange guys here. And I want to use more of these. This was honestly one of the most versatile things to have in this box, are these little blue like hematite heishes. Alright. And as for drops, I think maybe I'll make a drop with this. Maybe. I used all my other dangles and charms. Yeah, I think I'll do a drop like that with those. Let me figure out my links. I'm gonna do 2 of these on either side because they're so skinny. I like the color to show up. 2 of these on either side of my moon guys, and then some wrapped loops. So it's a wrapped loop. I'm going to make it just like I made the other ones. Did I use my bell making pliers on the last one? I think I might have used my round nose pliers on that one because I wasn't thinking. I just went right into it. Well, let's hope that loop is the right size. I think I love this so much. So cute. You know, maybe my drop will be one of these beads with some of those, and also a drop with one of these guys and some of these heishes. Yeah, that's gonna be my little dangle. My dangles, I'm gonna make some drops with those. Quite a bit of that sticking out. I couldn't quite get close to it because of these other beads. Let's get this tucked in here. There we go. There we go. So I'm gonna make 5 of those guys. And you know what? I'm gonna use these guys. They're gonna be a bigger part of this bracelet than I originally intended. Let's grab our 20 gauge wire, and I'm just gonna plop one of these nuggets, one of these orange and blue guys, and one of these nuggets, and I'm gonna make some simple loops. There isn't a really good, easy way for me to bend this with my fingers, so I'm going to use pliers for this. And it's just because, like with the longer beads, there's some leverage that I can use, but with this, I need to use the side of the pliers for my leverage when I make my bend. It just happens when you have smaller beads that you're using for these types of links. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna make 4 of these links and then 5 of the little man in the moons. And then I'm gonna make a couple of drops that are similar with these extra beads over here. Let me move these guys out of the way so we can move on to our next bead box and what we're making. So that's 3 down, 3 to go for our bracelet bash. Whew. Are you guys tired? I'm not tired yet, but you know, we'll see what happens. All right, next one is going to be this down the rabbit hole, and I have not made anything with this yet. I think I'm going to try using these beautiful Alice blue beads, gorgeous rondelles, and there's 4 of them. I think I might want to use some bead caps on them. I think we have these cloisonné bead caps. Let me pull some of those out. Hopefully I have enough for all of those. I have all of these bindings in here, so it's a little hard to get to. There's one. Yeah, I think I might trade some of the variety that we get in here for having enough of some of these things to use them. All right, one more. There it is. All right, yep. I am going to definitely use these in my links. And then for my other links, let me see what I want to use for that. These pearls. I'm going to use the pearls And there's going to be 3 of those pearls plus do I need anything else with that? Do I have anything that's small enough to fit well with it? I know. Some of these small rainbow rondelles with these pearls, I think they will go very nicely. All right. Let me put these guys back in here. And the hard part is then deciding on what dangles to use, what drops and dangles I have. Is there a, hold on. I was going to do a charm bracelet with these, so I'm not going to use those, but maybe the one of the bunnies and a key. There we go. So we're going to mix some metals. I'm going to have these dangles be there, and those will be part of my drops. And that's going to be with the down the rabbit hole mix. So let's do our wire wrapped loops with these guys. And 2 of them are going to have these gradient ones, and then the other 2 will have these. For that, so that's my 22 gauge one. And I want the cupped side of the bead cap to be facing the rondelle on either side, like that. All right. Yeah, wrapped loop. Let's just go a little bit faster, because this is going to end up being a very long video if we keep going. But you know, I mean, it's 6 different bead boxes, and we're going to do wrapped links for all of them. So these are like several different links, same but different. All right. One of the reasons that I like doing these is so that, you know, if you're watching along and you want to make something with me, you don't have to say, well, I don't have those specific bead boxes. You can look around at what you do have, and you can make something similar but different with it. Look how beautiful that is. I just want to stop and look at that, just to admire it for a minute, because it is very, very beautiful. The blues on these bead caps go so well with this beautiful blue of this. All right, let me get in here, cut off my excess, tuck that end in. So I'm going to make 4 of these. Then with my 20 gauge wire, I'm going to pop on this rainbow rondelle, the white pearl, if it will fit on there. Come on, buddy. Yep, it fits. This rondelle. I'm going to make some simple loops with this one. And again, the reason I'm using 2 different loops is for ease in assembly, because then I can just make my links and then I can open and close the ends of my simple loops to attach them to my wrapped loops. Get this one over here. All right, and I don't have the leverage again with the big bead because this is stacked. So I'm going to be using the side of my pliers for my leverage in order to bend this over. Usually if you've got a nice big bead, you've got all the leverage you need to be able to push it over with your thumb or your finger. This way I can bend it without it bending the whole length of my links. So these are the 2 links that I'm making with the Jessie James Beads Magical Mystery Bead Box. And these are the dangles that I'm going to be using. My little rabbit and a key. So let's move those out of the way. All right, so 2 more to go. Okay, bargain bead box. Oh, and this one's going to be kind of fun, I think. Let's definitely use some of these dark red rondelles. A couple of them. I think these will be better as spacers because of their large holes. I don't want them getting swelled up in the loops on the links. Let's grab some of these Beki rounds. Actually, let's just pull some purple ones. So maybe cranberry and purple. Some mauves. It's marvelous. I'm going to use some of these. And no, not for this. This will be for a different project that I do that. Maybe some of these bicones. Yeah, bicones. Bicones will be good. And then I'll need to make some drops because I don't think any of the charms that came here are going to go really well with it. Like this Christmas wreath charm. No, that's not going to go. It's not going to go, so I'll need to make some drops. And I'll probably do that with the mookaite and a bicone or 2 and some head pins. Yeah, I think that's the way to do. All right, so let me figure out how I want these to go. So we're going to have sparkly and not sparkly. You know what? I think I need to pull a couple of these other ones out here. I'm picking and choosing my mookaite rounds for this bracelet. go. Sparkly. And I'm easing into it, guys. I'm not ready for yellow yet. I'll probably do it when I do earrings with this box, or maybe one of my necklaces that I do with this box. But for a bracelet, we're gonna go with mauves and this cranberry red color. Right. You know what? Actually, maybe we are gonna just ease our way into this with a couple of pops of this yellow with I'm gonna see how I like it, see how I feel about it. I may not enjoy it, and I may decide not to do it like that. We'll see. But I think little pops of color aren't gonna be a deal breaker on this, especially with how moody the rest of the colors are. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. If I don't like it when I'm done with it, I can remake it. So let's get this one tipped over. The yellow keeps the box from being too moody. It would be a very, very moody box if it wasn't for this yellow. You know what? I'm gonna make them. Gonna make them. All right, I'm gonna just make a bunch of links like that, and then see how long it will be with it. Probably will be about 5 of these, maybe 4, maybe 6 of these, but we're gonna make those. And I am going to use this and one of these mookites to make a couple of drops with some head pins. I'm not going to demo the head pins for all of these. You guys saw me do it once. Well, twice actually on those first ones. And we want to get going and make some more links. So that is for that one. And then the last one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more for our 6th one is going to be out of the curated bead box. I've already made a couple of things with this. And I am going to use some head pins to make some dangles with some of these smaller beads. And I think I want to go with some of these reds. These bright, bright reds. So we've got these marble style ones here, and then we've got, like, they are like cherry red, dark cherry red beads, like these big 6mm ones. And so I think what I want to do with those is go ahead and use some of these bead caps that came in this box. And I'm going to do my wrapped loops with the bead caps. And then my simple loops with these. And then we'll make some dangles for our others. So let's grab our 22 gauge wire, make a wrapped loop, make sure I'm happy with it, or a wrapped link. There we go. This one is the Persian rug curated bead box. It's the one for November. Love this so far. Yep, you're just going to be doing some beaded link bracelets. And it'll probably take me the rest of the night to work on this, so I will probably be finishing this tomorrow, which may be today for y'all if you're watching it when I upload it. But you know, I enjoy relaxing with a spool of wire and some beads and making some links. So this will be a great part of the project. Okay, so there's that link. And now a simple loop. Where are you going? Come on, buddy. This did not get cut flush, so I'm going to do that now. Simple loop with the marble style. I'm feeling reds, guys. Feeling reds. I mean, I'm feeling reds there. Got some reds going here. We got we got blues going over here, blues and golds. I think I've definitely got a couple of color moods going here. And this one kind of bridges the gap between both because you've got the warm oranges and then you've got the cool blues all together. I can pitch both of these because I will have the leverage that I need to be able to push that over with my thumb. All right, and I'm not sure exactly how many I will need of these, so I will just make a bunch, and then we'll see when we're putting it together how long it is at the end of it. These are these two links. It's going to be a fairly simple link bracelet, but I think it's going to look great. Okay, so curated bead box, bargain bead box, Sam's bead box, gemstone orphanage, Jesse James mystery bead box, and soft flex design kit. I'm going to go make the rest of these links off camera so you guys don't have to sit here for 6 hours watching me make links. And then when I come back, we'll put them all together. All right, so I have all of my links made for my bracelets. And I went ahead and put this one together because it was a really good gauge for me for the length of a bracelet. See, it almost closes around there. There's enough room for a clasp on that. But that way when I was making them, I could lay out my links so that I'd know if I had enough or not. And if I needed to add more, I could do that, which I did with this one with the JJB, Jesse James Beads one. it wasn't long enough with just the beads that I had pulled out, so I went ahead and added a couple of extra links for that. So that's what I did with this one. This one was the one from the curated bead box, and I got that all put together, and I'm about to do the rest of these. I also pulled out some jump rings for attaching my dangles, and I made some dangles out of some beads for the boxes that didn't have any charms, so I can use dangles instead of charms. I really there's my little moon guy dangle for that one. I love him. But yeah, so I've got some dangles, I've got my some jump rings, and then I grabbed some clasps. Both of these are going to be using magnetic clasps. I felt like these were more toggle claspy kind of designs, and these two I'm using some lobster clasps for. But like any clasps will work as long as it'll open and, or as long as it'll open and close, and you can actually do that with one hand, which is what the important part about doing clasps is. So in order to connect them, and this is the reason I made these links this way, I'm just going to swing open one end of my simple loop links, which is why I did one that is simple loop and one that is wrapped loop, and attach my wrapped loop links. Then I turn it around and open up the other end. My simple loop links. And with these, I actually bent them so that they would have some curvature around a wrist. You can wait until after you've already made it to do that if you want to make sure that they go all in the same direction. So I'm just going to connect this one, and then I will do all the other ones, and we'll come back here and I'll show you how I am finishing it up with the clasps and the dangles, because I'm going to be doing all of these basically the same way. So I'm going to show you with one and then do the rest kind of on my own. Okay, is that curve? Nope, that curve is going the wrong way. There we go. That is better. Or no, did I do that the wrong way? I don't know. I kind of love these. I'll get it figured out. If I have to move a link around, or if I just have to bend it back, it's not hard to do that. I can always rebend it. All right. So you can see there, that is going to fit around my 7.5-inch wrist pretty much perfectly. So let me get the rest of these put together, and then we will get on to our clasps. All right, so my chains are all assembled, and I'm going to show you how I'm doing my closures and charms with this. I've got 3 jump rings for each bracelet, and 2 charms, one bigger, one littler. And I'm going to go ahead and attach, using one of these jump rings, one end of my closure to one end of my bracelet. So let's open this up. Okay. And then on the other end, actually, I think this end is going to be the one that I want to attach my charms to, if I'm thinking about it. So yeah, let me attach this other one. I was just thinking of how it's going to work when I do my when I actually open and close it, and the toggle is the part that moves the most. You know, that swings open. So the toggle is the one that I'm going to want to keep clear of my extra charms. You know what? I'm thinking I need another jump ring for these. So it's going to be 4 instead of 3 for each of these, because I want to attach them kind of in a little mini cascade. So let's do another one here. So to this jump ring right here in between, I'm going to attach my smaller charm using this jump ring here. Then, sorry. So the charm isn't attached directly to this link or to the bracelet, it's just attached to the jump ring there, using another jump ring. Now I'm going to attach my larger charm to this jump ring that the first charm is attached to, not to this one. No, let go. Here we go. Come on, buddy. Why is it not going through the ring? This jump ring is too large. I'm going to grab a smaller jump ring. This is a 6mm jump ring. I'm just going to grab a couple of smaller, 2 of them, 5mm jump rings, so I can get more articulation. Sometimes you gotta troubleshoot these things. All right. I'm also going to, since I had that problem with this one, I am also going to make sure that I have those set aside for the other one that I'm doing it with the toggle. And that is the only one that I'm going to have to make that correction with, I think, because the rest of them are going to be either lobster clasps or these magnetic clasps. So it's just the toggle that I'm having to make that an issue with. All right, let's try that again. works so much better for getting that on there. Alright, so that is my first one completed, and I'm just going to go ahead and, because while I was putting this together, I sort of thought about an easier or maybe quicker, or maybe not even quicker or easier, just a different way of attaching these, and that is to start with the larger one on a jump ring already. That way. When I go to connect this, the larger one with my closure ring, because on this one I've just got, this is the ring that I'm going to try to be looping into, but these can also act as closure rings in case I want it looser. I can put my smaller dangle on there, then loop this jump ring on here, and then connect this to my closure loop. Like that. And this way. Except I need to get this guy on here. Okay, now. Alright, so I am going to be doing this basically the same way for all of these, where I have both of the dangles attached in kind of a cascading fashion with multiple jump rings for all of these. And I will come and show you the finished product in just a minute after I get the rest of these attached. And here are all of my finished bracelets using 6 different bead boxes. This was the Persian rug curated bead box. It was the November bead box from Curated Bead Box. And then this was using the November gemstone orphanage box. I didn't use the gemstone in this, I just made a bracelet to go with it. I am planning on a different project where I am going to make a necklace with the gemstone that came with my candy gemstone, so we'll do that, but this will be something I can wear with it. And then we've got the one from the bargain bead box, and this one was the cozy chrysanthemum one. And you know what? I am actually really happy with these little pops of yellow in here with this. So I'm glad I didn't avoid it like my first instinct was. I think it does add something for that, to have those. And then we have Sam's bead box. And this one was the October bead box. the one that was the colors of the cosmos. My new Sam's Bead Box is out for delivery today, so I'll probably be unboxing that and then saving the video until after the official reveal for that one. But I have had a lot of fun making with this box. And then this is our Birds of a Feather box from Softflex. And it's not a subscription for the Softflex boxes. I just usually buy one when they release them every month. And I have had a lot of fun making things with this. And there's another project that I have in mind for this box too that I'm going to be working on this week. And then this one was Down the Rabbit Hole, the Jesse James Magical Mystery Bead Box. I've got my dangles there and all of these. And I actually really love this one. Look how sparkly it is. It sparkles so much. Anyway, this was a really fun thing to do. Again, it's one of my favorite things to do is just to take a whole bunch of different bead boxes and make things that are the same but different and just have some fun with it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you decide to maybe make yourself some beaded chain bracelets. And if you, sorry, I always forget to do this. My brother tells me hey, you got to remember to tell people to like and subscribe. So if you like it, hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Bye.